Hello, welcome. Today we are going to set up our decentralized task manager that we have started a long time ago. I'm sorry, I was busy with some project. Then we are going to set up the project. We are going to use hardhat, which is an Ethereum development environment. You can also follow up using Ganache, but I recommend that you use hardhat so that you can follow what we are going. We are going to build a smart contract for our task manager. Then we'll be using sveltekit. Sveltekit, it's a front-end framework to build a web application. You can follow up using React or Angular. Then we are going to use Tailwind Css in order to make our website more beautiful. Then we are going to use gitpod. Gitpod is an online editor. It's like VS Code, but it's an online editor. If you are following up using gitpod, you have to install a gitpod extension from Chrome, so that you can open your repository. It will show you the button like this, open with gitpod. So we'll be using GitLab for our project, as I have already created a repository. You can follow up using GitHub. Then the quick demo of our application will be like a task manager, where you can add a task, you can remove a task, or you can delete a task. Let's get started. You can add a task. Let's say today we have to create both backend and front end. Then you press enter. Then it will wait for approval. Then it will pop up MetaMask. Then we are using Polygon. You can run it even on Ethereum, but here I have decided to use Polygon. S is for cheap transaction. Then I have to confirm my transaction. Then it's processing on the blockchain. When it's done, it will show the task. Let's wait for a second. It will process. Now the task is added. You can see now we have created one task. Let's add again another task. Then it will also pop up MetaMask again to add another task. Then we have to confirm. We have to confirm our transaction. Then if you can check the notification. No, that was fast. It have added. Then you can mark it as done. Let's say this one, check it and mark it as done, waiting for approval. Confirm. It's processing transaction. Let's wait for a second. It's updated successfully. If we refresh our browser, you'll see now that our transaction is you can get all the transaction from the blockchain. Even this one is checked. If we can delete, you can go delete the transaction. Then it will ask, are you sure you want to delete this task? If we confirm, it will pop up MetaMask, so that we can confirm that we want to delete that task. then it's processing. Then the task is deleted. Now let's start with the setup. On the setup, you have to click this button if you are using gitpod. If you are using VS Code, you have to open your VS Code and you'll follow along. Then we have already started our gitpod instance. Then we have to run certain commands in order to start with our project. We have to create 2 folders. The first one, it's backend, where we'll be running our Solidity code, and the client, where we'll be running our Svelte project. Then we can check our guideline. Then we have to start with the backend. We have to cd to the backend. I will put the command on the below on the description. Then we have to cd to backend. Then after cd to backend, we have to initialize our NuGet package. Then we have like a NuGet package initialized. Then we have to install hardhat as a dev dependency. We have to install hardhat as a dev dependency. Then let's wait, it will take a couple of seconds. While waiting, while installing, we have to run npx to start our project. Now it's done. Then let's start npx run hardhat so that we can initialize our project. Then it will ask you if you then we'll do a create basic. Then yes, it will be on our root project. Do you want yes? You can say no or yes, but for me I will go with no. Then it will initialize our smart contracts with Solidity code. We'll check it in the second when it's done. Then okay, we can be checking. Then the npm init have created this grid.sol, which is a Solidity for a greeting. I hope you have a little knowledge of Solidity so that I won't go deep into the introduction to Solidity, but it's as simple as JavaScript. We'll also need Solidity extension, I think. Let me try to add Solidity. This one. While it's installing the extension, we'll check what is generated. We have the contracts, we have the scripts. This script is run when we are deploying to maybe to a testnet or a mainnet, we'll be deploying this one. This one is a contract. The name of the contract is this name. This name of the contract, that's being deployed. Then it will deploy with the name hello, while then deploy. Then after deploying, it will give you an address. This address is the pointer to a blockchain. Then we'll be doing like a small of TDD, which is like testing our smart contract. If you check here, it's like describe, we'll be using type. Then we have to check the config and the hardhat config. On the hardhat config, we are using Solidity 8.9, 8.4, but I think the latest one is 8.11. But let's use this one. We don't have to upgrade. Even this one, it will work fine. Then let's go and check. We have to add certain dev dependencies, which will make it easier. But I think with the current hardhat, it pre-install those scripts. Let me check on the package.json. Oh yeah, it installed those Ethereum waffle chai for testing, even Etherjs. This is hardhat Ethers. It install all those projects. Then let's install .env so that we can run our environment variables. .env. Here. Then we have to create an environment variable file. Then we have an environment variable. We will need certain environment variables. Then we have to create the config.js. Create config.js. That's where we'll run our config. Then on the environment variables, we have to paste these certain keys. This is a private key from MetaMask, private key. Then the RPC URL. The RPC is the URL that talks to the blockchain. As we are using a testnet, we'll be using Matic Mumbai, which is a testnet for Polygon Matic. Then here you put your private key. I will show you on another video how to get a MetaMask private key. Do not show anyone this private key, because if you are using it on your main account, people can take your money. This is a private. You don't have to even commit it to your repository. So make sure this file is on the gitignore, that you put it on gitignore. Like here we have environment variable on the gitignore. And then after that, here on the config.js, that's where we will import our environment variables. We'll copy this little code and we'll go through together. Then here we have to, as we have installed the netenv, we have to config. Then we have to take our private variables. We have the private key and the RPC URL. Then here is the private key. Then you put here on the accounts. Then the private URL RPC. That's your RPC. We put the RPC URL. Then RPC URL. Then we're done with our config.js. Then we have to go to our hardhat config. Then we have to import our config. We'll go to hardhat config. Then after that, we require or import our config. Here on our config, we'll add it here on the export. We add it as a on the networks. Here on the networks, we are going to use copy. We are going to use our default network will be Mumbai. The name of Mumbai is exactly as this one. This one is a config from Mumbai, from our config, which is this one, which point to Mumbai. So the Mumbai URL will be this RPC URL. The accounts will be this accounts. If you don't want to use the config, you can also import this one to the config. Then you create the network here. It's exactly the same. Then we have to write our the path. Let's copy this code. Then the path here, this path, the sources path, will point to a smart contract path. Here is our smart contract. Then the folder name will be this folder name. Then the test is where we run our test scripts. It will be this folder with the test scripts. And the cache, we don't have cache now. It will be generated after we run hardhat. Then after that, we have to point to the artifacts. Even the artifacts, we don't have the artifacts there. We don't have the artifacts folder. It will be generated while we deploy our smart contract. Then we have marker the timeout. This is the timeout to run the smart contract. Mostly if you are running it from the RPC, you can find the RPC is very slow, so that we have to put this timer to maybe 20,000 milliseconds, because if it is less than that, it can give you errors. Then we're done with our smart contract with our backend. Then we'll start. Then we'll try to run the test to see if everything is configured correctly. Let's go run npx run hardhat test. Then press enter. Okay, you see now the private key is too short because now I haven't entered the private key here. because we need to enter the private key. The simplest way to enter the private key is to go to MetaMask, then you go here on these three dots, then you go account details, then you click this export private key. When you click this one, it will prompt you to enter your password. Then after you enter the password, it will show you the key. Copy that key. After copying that key, then put that key here. It will be your key. I will do it offline so that you won't steal mine. But obviously, I'm not using my main account. But you don't have to show you people your private key because it's private. Then we're done with setting the smart contracts. Now let's start setting let's start to set up our client on we'll be using like sveltekit studying. Then we have to go to our client folder, cd to client. Then on our client we don't have anything. Then we'll follow. It's so simple to do our client. We just have to copy our init. We have to initialize a svelte.next project on the current on the dot, which means the current folder, which is the client. Then if we enter yes, then it will ask to this yes. Then we'll do like a skeleton project. We don't have to do demo. Then we should use TypeScript for now. No. Then we're done. As we can check, we have generated our client. Then we have to install Tailwind CSS. In order to install Tailwind, we have to enter this command nps svelte add the latest. Then you write Tailwind CSS. This command will install Tailwind CSS. Then if you check, this command will generate all the required files like Tailwind config, then with post CSS. Then it will also generate the app CSS. Then it configures everything. If we check, it will generate this layout. On the layout, it will import the app CSS. Then we have to install the dependencies. All the dependencies are installed now. If we can go to here, we can try to check if our Tailwind is correctly installed. We can write class equals to pg green, let's say 400. Then save. Then let's npm run dev to start our sveltekit. Then we open on the browser and check if everything is configured. Yay, you can see now everything we have set up We have set up our backend. We have set up our client. Then on the next lesson, we'll be starting with our backend. We'll be doing a TDD, test driven domain to write our Solidity code. Thank you.